So I wasn't planning on making this response video until I got so many comments from Superman fanboys, attacking me and disagreeing with my point from my last video on Jarbers and Goons video on Goku versus Superman and why it was never close. And I gave my points out and I gave, my argument against his. And a lot of people, since I made that video, have been coming after me, mainly, obviously, Superman fans, disagreeing with me. Some have been more cordial and more, reasonable. Others have been more aggressive, which I'm fine with that. I've stated before multiple times on my channel, I'm an asshole. I'm not going to pretend I'm like some nice guy. And, I'm okay with other people coming in with an attitude. You can disrespect me, like I said, but you have to expect me to disrespect you back. So don't cry about being disrespectful or rude if you come at me in that way. But I will admit I did go overboard with some people. And some stuff I do think I did a little too much. Like, for example, one of the Superman fans, his name is Jedian McMillan. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Jedian McMillan. Me and him had a back and forth discussion, but he was very respectful, and I did apologize in the comment section to how I responded to him. So I am sorry to him, and he already knows at this point. But before we get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to a couple of new subscribers of mine. First by the name of Dragon Ball as a cartoon, then Be a God to the Gods, and then Wolf Miller Vivo. So big shout out to you three for subscribing to this channel. Now in this video, what I'm going to be basically doing is I'm going to be responding to every Superman fan boy that came after me. Mainly the ones that were disrespectful. I'm not going to really focus too much on the more respectful ones because that was just a mutual disagreement. Whereas this one, it's literally more of a seated hateful back and forth, whatever, and they commented more and the most out of everybody and had the most to say. So I'm gonna go through theirs the most, so yeah, I'm gonna pick select few of you guys, and then I'm gonna go through all of your comments, and then I'm gonna go through the next. So first, I'm gonna be starting off with a viewer by the name of Superman Prime. He was one of the first people to basically call me out on my videos and stuff. He did it on my Thor versus Vegeta video, the death battle. He also did it on my Goku Black versus Reverse Flash death battle. And he commented those months ago, and one of the last one was like a year ago, I think. And the only reason he came back to start attacking me or calling me out was because one of my subscribers by the name of Anime Sonic Johnny basically told him, hey, you're wrong or whatever, and he's like, leave him alone, don't be rude and stuff, whatever, which I appreciate that, but I really don't need that. I'm fine, like I said, I'm okay with you guys being disrespectful because I'm naturally disrespectful myself. So I was okay with that, but I do think his points were pretty stupid. He said I was an idiot, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna waste my time with him, he's dumb, and I already debunked him, which I'm gonna get into why those two are stupid. Now, first for the Thor versus Vegeta video. When I made that video, I literally stated I don't know enough about Thor. This is not a debunking video. It was just a reaction video. It was my first time seeing it, and I was just pointing out some parts or arguments from Screwtack or Death Battle now, and I was going in some of the points and saying it was incorrect and this and that. And he came out right from the jump saying, you're wrong, Thor would completely body Vegeta, this and that, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you just got debunked and this and that. And this is a narrative that I saw quite a bit with the Superman fans coming after me saying, you just got debunked, which their level of debunk is pretty lazy or whatever, but he came after me saying I got debunked, which is kind of stupid because in that video, it was not me debunking, Death Battle. It was just me having a disagreement with some of their points. That was it. And I literally stated in that video multiple times, I don't know enough about Thor to 100% say Vegeta would win. I was leaning more to Vegeta, but I wasn't saying Vegeta would definitively win that fight. So I don't know why he thinks we were having a debate and that he debunked me when I wasn't making bold claims in the first place. I literally admitted I don't know enough about Thor to make those bold claims. I was just giving some information out that I knew personally. So that was stupid to try to have a debunk debate with me when that wasn't the case, and I literally said that, so I don't know what he was fighting about. Then the Reverse Flash versus Goku Black thing, that was more definitively like an argument, so I get that. But his what he did was he watched that video and then he gave me a whole laundry list of all of Reverse Flash's abilities and techniques and all the stuff he can do, and he was going through and explaining why this would beat Goku Black. Now that was actually a good response, But the problem with that was I did make response video towards from my last video of the Goku Black versus Reverse Flash video. I made a response video which I basically went through all of his argumentative points and I was going through and debunking them all. And whether you agree with my debunks, if you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter, because in the end of the day, I gave out my response and guess what he did? He didn't comment back. He didn't say anything back. He didn't, he didn't have any rebuttals. I made that video. I explained all the points. I went through them all. He didn't say anything at all. And he stopped. And then once when this whole discussion between him and Anime Sonic went together, and they, he came back, he stated that he debunked me on that topic, which he did not. I literally made a response video to all of his claims, and he didn't respond back. So technically, he would have been the one who lost. Even if you want to say my debunk wasn't that great, he could have at least tried to dismantle it, but he didn't. And now he's coming out and claiming that he did debunk me and he beat me and whatever, and just stuff like that. So now the next guy I'm going to be going to is Mel slash L5862. Now Mel, he was already having a discussion with somebody else. I basically was talking to the other person, and then he just came in and then he started just saying wild shit, and I had a disagreement with him, and I think he's the most annoying out of everybody. He's the one that just keeps saying he keeps on saying stupid shit, and I'll get back to his point because right now I'm just on my video on Jabber and Goons one. I'm just gonna go through all the comments through those. He did comment on a couple of my other videos to attack me, even though this one was specifically about that. But whatever, I'll get back to him later. For right now, I'm just going to focus on the ones on this video because I don't want to hop in between those videos. That's the only way I can check it. But yeah, he states right here, the failsafe fight isn't current Superman with his new levels of power. Those are past events. Also, kryptonite was used constantly to instantly nerf Supes. Current Superman is instantly absorbed God energy from Genesis from Metal Amp Kryptonite with and Superman created Damn Susanoo to defeat Metallo, then spared him and helped him. He countered instant teleportation. Soup's bodies Goku at his peak. Cry less, son. First of all, the failsafe thing, I heard about it, and I know that they're making Superman stronger. They had this one lady, I think Moonlight or whatever, she was giving him power of Moonlight because naturally Superman absorbs solar radiation and that reflects off of the moon, but it's a fraction of the actual sun, and usually he's weaker at night. But now with this ability, he can absorb sunlight even at the nighttime or whatever. So it gave him an amp. But he said he used a Susanoo. I don't know. I haven't seen that, so I don't know that. But even so, Goku already did that himself, and that doesn't mean he's gonna beat Goku just because he has the ability. He said he countered instant teleportation. He didn't counter it in the newer one. I forgot what the name is. He gained the abilities of teleportation. He didn't counter it. He has teleportation himself. And I stated that he basically just copying, Goku. And he's like, oh, so absorbing energy is copying Goku? No, dumbass. I'm not saying that absorbing energy is copying Goku, which they can do that. We've seen, in the Broly film where they gave energy to Goku. So he can do that, but that's not the point I was making. I was talking about the Susanoo and the teleportation thing. He could do those. So what was your point there? So he's saying, oh, he can copy Goku's... He said, copying Goku is already moronic. Superman was always able to absorb various energies, and it isn't a new concept. No, he was not. The only energy Superman's been able to absorb is solar energy. At this point, it's new. If it was, if it was something that was around forever, why would they be making a big deal about it? Come on. And he said, you're basically saying Goku ripped off Kenshiro absorbing energy from Dragon Ball Channel. You sure have a Goku brain. Dumbass. I don't know why you're focusing solely on the absorption thing. I was talking about the Susanoo and the teleportation thing. He focused on the one thing and he acted like the other stuff wasn't stuff that Goku already was able to do. And then somebody else, guy named Spidey2837 says, most of the feats you pull out of your ass, irony is funny thing. He was saying that to me because I said that to him. I was like, you're pulling these feats out of your ass. I never pulled out any feats out of my ass when it comes to Goku. Every feat that I've talked about Goku's, it's been directly from the series, and the ones that people have, been big Dragon Ball fans that have been saying that Goku can do this or that, I have disagreed with. Literally my last video, I said Goku was in Universal. I mean, he was in Outerversal or Boundless. So no, I'm not pulling feats out of my ass. This guy clearly doesn't watch my channel, just talks out of his ass because he didn't make any real serious point there. And I'm gonna try to see if I can find him because I know I had a bunch of you other guys mixed in. So sorry if it's a little weird and janky this video. You know what? Actually, screw it. I'm not gonna go through each specific guys. I'm gonna just go through whichever comments I see because there was one person commented and then there's a whole comment thread. So I'm gonna go through everybody's comment thread and I'm just gonna point them out because it's pointless to go look for that one person and then go back and forth. So and then this other guy came in and interjected himself named TCG. Underscore on fire. He was having a lot of arguments with another subscriber of mine by the name of Lee Monk's Grunkle. I don't agree with his points and his arguments, but I do appreciate his feedback. But here's the thing: it wasn't between me and him at first. They were both going after each other the entire time. They're having a discussion about the size of the DC cosmology, what level of dimensional tiering it is. I've never talked about that or cared about that because there's no point to get into that. So I didn't really say anything with there, but they're going back and forth quite a bit. But at some point there was an interjection from me. And like I said, this is going to be a little more janky because it's easier to do through one person, but there's multiple people and some of them commented on a couple of different other videos of mine, and then they had arguments with other people, so it's like so much. Right now I'm just scrolling to see where me and him got into the debate because I don't care what his debate with the other guy is. It has nothing to do with me. Okay, and then we have another guy named Daniel Kimwan Desan. Sorry if I mispronounced it. It's too long, so I'm just going to call him Daniel. Him, I didn't have too much of a problem. We just had a little bit of disagreement. He said, Dragon Ball for life. I agree with you that he fought avatars of Darkseid. You are correct, but you also forget that avatars can have outerversal feats of various contexts. Okay, like I said, there's no animosity between me and him, but most of you other guys, we do have some animosity. But his argument here is saying he's saying that the avatars of Darkseid have outerversal feats. All I'll say is show me some outerversal feats. I'm not saying it to say you're wrong. I just would like to have more definitive proof. But even with that being said, remember this. Since these are avatars, a lot of the avatars of Darkseid throughout the different comics, his strength changes. Sometimes he's stronger, sometimes he's weaker. So it really depends on that comic. If in that comic he showed some outerversal level feat, and then Superman was able to beat him, or Doomsday, then I would argue yes, he is outerversal because that same Darkseid showed that he was an outerversal level feat, and then Superman was able to handle him and beat him. So that'll make him outerversal. But just in general, that the avatars have showed outerversal feats. Remember, different comic books, their power ranges and fluctuates. So it could be a more nerfed version of him or a more amped version of him because we all know that it's not very consistent. And he says, and clearly you don't know your DC multiverse map. The source wall is outside and beyond DC multiverse. The source wall is, but it's also within it because every time we see them flying in it, they're flying in the universe itself. It's not like it's an outside of the God sphere and everything else. So it is within it. It's outside of it, but it also consists within it. So yeah, I don't fully agree with that argument. And then we had a guy by the name of KYB6743. He says, people say Goku's outerversal all the time, but does that laser he gets one-shotted by skill to outerversal too? I don't think you understand the definition of a good story. Now, this guy, he was also pretty annoying. And like I said, I'm going to be back and forth with some of these people. I'm just going basically throughout the comment thread. And whichever person I saw disagree with me, I'm going through them. Okay, so talking about his thing. I never said Goku's outerversal. I don't know why this guy was keep on arguing with me with the outerversal shit. My last video, I literally was talking and arguing with other Dragon Ball fans that were putting him at outerversal and boundless. I literally put Goku at high multiversal level. And even if you want to argue low multiversal level or just multiversal level, whatever, I put him in that range. I never put him at outerversal or boundless. So yeah, this guy is talking out of his ass. And this is something you guys did quite a bit in this, in this video when you guys were commenting it against me, saying, oh, you're biased obviously because you have the name Dragon Ball for life and you have Dragon Ball pick. But then if you look at my videos, which I told you guys, some of you guys to go check out, but you said you're not going to do it. If you're not going to check out my videos to know my points and my beliefs on these characters, then don't make general assumptions just based off of my name. Either fucking do your research or shut the fuck up. So you guys were doing a lot of shit talking, but you weren't doing any research. So this dumbass saying, oh, is that, he got hit by a laser. Is that laser also out of reversal? Like I said, I never said Goku was out of reversal. My last video, I literally went against that. So that also goes against my whole, I'm just an ass kisser of Dragon Ball and I try to, wink Goku or whatever, when I literally have gone against it and other Dragon Ball fans who agree with it. So I never said that. Also, the laser thing. I also talked about this before countless times, and there's another point, he brings this up quite a bit, and I want to just say it here so I can re-explain it a couple more times throughout this video, because I do talk about this. The laser thing, I've already stated in my original Goku vs. Superman 2 video from Death Battle. I explained when I was analyzing the fight between Superman and Goku, and Superman lasered his brain and evaporated and killed him by doing the instant lobotomy move that he did in the Elites. I literally said in the video, I was like, look, this looks stupid, and I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans are going to be like, this doesn't make any sense, he was caught off guard, but I stated that, look, if you believe that Goku could get hurt by a laser, even if he's caught off guard, then you have no room to complain about, Superman fans thinking that Superman could beat Goku that way, because if somebody can catch him off guard with a laser, somebody as fast as Superman should be able to also catch him off guard and hit him with his heat vision and be able to kill him. So I literally stated that, and I also stated, there's a lot of stuff I disagree with when it comes to Death Battle, but I can see where their point is coming from here. I disagree with the whole laser thing, concept as a whole, but I literally stated in that video, I could understand if Superman fans would use this argument, and I even called out Dragon Ball fans saying, you can't blame them or say, this is ridiculous when you guys agree to what Toriyama said in the, Resurrection of F. So I don't know what his point is here. Once again, if you're going to make, these bold claims that I'm saying this or that, first check out my channel to see what I think, because I've never ever agreed with that laser thing. And he says, oh yeah, that's the definition of good story. I literally said that was shitty writing, and that's why one of the reasons I hate Dragon Ball Super. If you guys watch my channel since the beginning, or at least early on, you would know I've made countless videos shitting on Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball as a whole, but Dragon Ball Super mainly, and the direction that Dragon Ball has gone into. So I have talked about this point, and I made also another video talking about Goku's durability, where I was refuting this whole narrative of Goku being caught off guard, making him this vulnerable, where I stated, yes, when he's caught off guard, he's more vulnerable, but not to the point where a laser or a bullet should be able to hurt him. And I showed through multiple scans throughout Dragon Ball and Z, where Goku is caught off guard, depleted of energy, or whatever reason, and he was hit with stuff that were way more dangerous and more deadly, and he was able to come out of it unscathed or barely hurt. So I have made videos on this. Once again, if you want to know this, check out my original Goku vs. Superman 2 video on Death Battle, and check out my, I think it was called Goku's durability video or whatever, or how durable is Goku. I basically went in depth in that. So yes, I never said he was out of reversal 1. 2, I have also called out the bad writing of the laser thing and said if Superman fans use that as an argument, us Dragon Ball fans can't really complain about it. So I don't know what your argument is here. Like I said, he said, just like your beloved Goku that gets hurt by bullets and one-shotted by a laser blaster, right? LMFAO, guess the laser gun has out-of-reversal AP, or like Vegeta who dies from a planet explosion, is shocked by Beerus destroying a planet, can't lift 1,000 tons, struggles against a steam and magma. Let me guess, the lava is out-of-reversal, right? Or are we mentioning galaxy destruction for characters that are obviously universal and higher at this point? All I'm doing here is literally using your logic. By your logic, I could scale Goku to wall level. You say Superman fans pull feats out of their ass. The irony here is hilarious. We're all aware that fiction has inconsistencies. Yeah, big deal. The difference is most people know that in power scaling, you don't take in consideration all the inconsistencies. If Goku can easily be killed by his guard is down, why can't Superman get knocked out by supernova when his guard is down? Like all Goku tards, just being hypocrites and only bringing up anti-feats for the characters they don't want to win. That's called being a biased fanboy. They both have inconsistencies. All fiction does. The difference is Superman has had many different writers over the decades of appearance. Unlike Goku, Dragon Ball is literally filled with plot holes and inconsistencies, so the irony here is again hilarious. Even if you wanted to rank Goku to the absolute highest, you could get him by taking statements and feats out of context like Goku tards do and rank him to, say, universal. He still gets shit on by post-crisis Superman. You say Superman isn't universal. PC has post-crisis Superman has about 70 universal level feats, which in DC is far beyond baseline universal due to the cosmology, which would already be beyond anything Goku has ever done. Later was stated that have been holding back all of them, literally one-shotting everyone. Oh my gosh, he wrote so fucking much. Dude, don't write an essay. When he actually started trying, he killed his enemy in the most savage, disrespectful way possible, literally, effortlessly. I've been power scaling for years. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I said, even if you said Goku's universal and based from his insane wank, post-crisis Superman, from feat statements and cosmology scaling layers into the boundless tier as a low ball. Okay, whatever. It's not my fault DC is ridiculous in terms of powers and narrative. It's just the way it is, and being biased against it makes it wrong no matter how much you like it. DC. Dragon Ball is just as goofy in my personal opinion. If the characters have infinite speed like people say, then why does Goku need instant transmission? Why does he need time machine if he has immeasurable speed? Gee, I remember Superman literally traveling through and outspeeding time with speed about 3 different times just off the back of my head, and he scales to characters that have done the exact same thing in power scaling. We look at feats, not anti-feats. If power scale is focused on inconsistency, it would be literally impossible to even scale characters, as there would be too many contradictions in the powers. Hence why Dragon Ball is controversial in the power scaling community, since it's notorious for this. Again, the irony here is present overall Goku at scale to multiversal and Superman high universal bare minimum. Even New 52 has creation level feats. Okay, that was long. Like I said, stop fucking sending me essays. If you already send like 10,000, replies back and forth. You might as well just make shorter ones and reply a bunch of times, then make fat long ones, and then do the same thing anyway. So let's go through all of his points. 100% dumb. Okay, first he said your beloved Goku got hurt by a laser and a bullet. Once again, I restated in my Goku how durable Goku video. I talked about in that video why I used scans and argumentative proof from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, where Goku was completely depleted of energy and his guard was down, and he was able to tank more than what was shown in Dragon Ball Super. So there's contradictions there, and Super is very badly written. And I've also made videos talking about how bad the writing is in Super. So don't sit here and say and act like make assumptions on my arguments and my beliefs on these characters when I've literally gone against your shit. Like, you're so fucking stupid. Did you even check my channel out? I have never stated Goku's universal. I've never stated that those I've never ignored those feats and said, oh yeah, those anti-feats, it doesn't count. I've stated that it's bad and it makes the character look weak, and I've even made a video stating that it's pointless to power scale or have Dragon Ball Super characters versus characters from other verses. So your point there is stupid. I already gone through that multiple times. And then outerversal stuff. He keeps on repeating this. I've never ever said Goku was outerversal. My last video, I literally called that out. So you're wrong 100%. You're using a straw man argument stating that, oh, you're considering him outerversal. I didn't. He stated that he considers him multiversal. Guess what? So do I. I literally stated that in my last video. I stated it even in the fucking Goku versus Superman video. I stated I consider Goku, I stated I consider him multiversal, not fucking outerversal. So why you keep on using that argument? I never said that. Where the fuck are you getting that from? So he goes to that and he says, Vegeta died to a planet explosion. No, he died to the lack of oxygen. They literally stated that, so no, it's not the planet exploding. I also stated that was stupid. He can't lift 1,000 tons. That was in the manga, not the anime. The anime, he's stronger, though I do agree that the 1,000 tons is bad. And Toriyama, I've stated also before many times on my channel, when it comes to showcasing feats of these characters, he does really good when it comes to visuals. When it comes to numerical values, he's very bad at it. That's why I made the whole video about the 40 tons thing and how it's an inconsistency and power scaling. It makes no sense. So I have gone through that. Struggles against steam and magma. He's saying, is it universal? Once again, I didn't say it was universal. The steam and magma, I also do think it was kind of dumb in that fight, but the argument I think there is the fact that Magetta, whatever you call him, he basically, since he's a living organism, he had ki, and when you see him charging up, you see a red aura around him powering up. And we know in Dragon Ball, just like in Naruto, you can infuse your energy into natural materials. So like in Naruto, Gaara can infuse his chakra into his sand to make it stronger than regular sand. And in this one, Magetta basically put his ki into the lava to make it stronger. So I'm guessing that's why that was the case. And also the steam thingy, it was because it was burning away the oxygen molecules. Though Dragon Ball characters can, handle heat, because we saw that in the Broly film and stuff like that, and also their attacks set fires, and since it goes at faster than light speeds, it will have a lot of friction behind it. It will be hotter than that. So, and we saw also Goku in the Battle of Gods fight against Beerus. He was falling down from the Earth's atmosphere, and his body was burning up. And guess what? He was knocked out, he was falling down while his body was burning up, and he didn't take any real damage. That didn't hurt him at all. So he could handle the heat. It's just that in this case, what was happening, and they explained it, was since they had the closed off room, the only oxygen that was allowed to come in was from the bottom, and with the heat coming in, it was basically burning away the oxygen and turning it into carbon, and that was making it hard for them to breathe, so he was getting dizzy. So it wasn't really the heat, it was the lack of oxygen that was getting to Vegeta. That's what was happening there. Now going back to it, he says Whis mentions galaxy level destruction for characters that are obviously universal and higher at this point. The galaxy level destruction, once again, that was in the manga. It never really stated in the anime to be galaxy level or anything like that. But that it's a common trope with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, even when they were way past beyond, planet level, they would keep on mentioning planet level. They mentioned planet level in, when Frieza came there. They mentioned planet level throughout the entire Frieza saga. They mentioned planet level throughout almost all of the, Android/Cell saga. Only when we got to, towards the ending where Cell stated a solar system level attack, then we went past just stating, planet level. But we knew they were well above planet level. They just repeated that statement over and over again. And this is kind of a running thing with Dragon Ball where they repeat a feat. We see an impressive feat and they keep on repeating it. And so that galaxy level thing, usually they kind of give you a lower level feats and they keep on repeating, but that doesn't mean that they're at that level because, like I said, by the Cell Saga, they were well above, even in the Frieza Saga, they were well above, planet level. So them mentioning again doesn't really matter. Also, if you look at, Flash Comics, he's well above the speed of light, but they keep on mentioning he's faster than the speed of light, faster than the speed of light, faster than the speed of light. It's like, we get it, dude. He's way faster than the speed of light. Why do you keep on telling us this? He's done way more than that. But they keep on mentioning it because even though he's beyond that, it's still an impressive benchmark you place it. And sometimes writers just love repeating feats or statements of feats. So that argument doesn't really make sense. If you're going to go on him, then I guess you can go on Flash 2 because they keep on mentioning he's faster than light when we already know he's faster than light. Unless they're trying to tell us something, which I don't really believe that or go with that argument. Like I said, he had a lot of arguments here. He said, and all I'm doing is using your own logic. No, you're not. You're clearly not using my own logic at all. Because he's trying to say that, I'm just using anti-feats against Superman. No, I'm not. What I'm doing is every time people use feats to prove why Superman would win, I give you the full context of those feats that they use to over-exaggerate him, and then I give you the context, and it shows you that it's not at all what they were saying. I've never cherry-picked my feats. Have you guys seen my videos where I talk about how strong is these characters? I literally go through all these images, and I click and select these images. I click and select every feat that I possibly can, whether it goes against what, my belief of they're that powerful or not. I don't care. In the end of the day, I'm not trying to just say this comic book character is weaker or that comic book character is weaker. I'm trying to show the actual feats. So if you guys seen those videos, you would know that I don't just cherry pick feats and avoid them and take things out of context. I try to get the full image. I try to give you the full story and background. I try to give you more of an explanation behind it. Even to the point where I extend out my videos very long just to explain and go in as much as detail so I don't leave anything out. So no, you're not using my logic. You don't even know what my logic is because you haven't constantly checked my channel to know what the fuck I think. So yeah, you're not using it, and all the points I literally just made points against it. So stop with that. And he said, you say fans pull feats out of their ass for Superman. The irony here is, yeah, you do pull feats out of your ass. Why? Because you guys keep on saying he does this and that, and then when I ask you provide me feats, like links and stuff, you guys don't show me anything. At least when I do this stuff, I show you the stuff. And if I don't, I just tell you like, hey, look, I just heard it somewhere and stuff. There's other videos, and I try to give you some stuff because you can't obviously always know it, and I understand that. But with that being said, you guys drop in countless feats back to back to back, and then put little to no information on where I can get this information from. You just say it, and then you say, well, yep, I got my argument against you. Well, I need to check it out before you do that, because there's countless YouTubers that have done that, and guess what? When you check out the full context, they're bullshitting. So yeah, when you guys saying, oh, I'm just calling you out to saying you're pulling this out of your ass, I'm not just saying that because I'm just trying to discredit you. It's because you guys keep on putting these feats, don't put anything behind it. And I'm going to get to this later because this is an argument later. One guy says, at one point Lex Luthor took over Superman's mind, and with his full power, he just took one step and he was like, affecting the multiverse, was going to destroy the multiverse. That's a bold and big claim to make. If you're going to make that claim, at least show me some feats, or it's just an ass pull. So that's why I'm calling it out. And he's saying it's ironic that you say that. I've never put an ass pull for Goku's feats at all. Every feat that I've used, I've shown in full detail what happened. Like when I talk about him being universal, I went through details and many things, and I go in depth. I don't bring out ridiculous feats. Like I said, I don't put him in Outerversal. I don't put him in anything ridiculous. All I do is use the feats that we were shown, and then I go based off, simple logic, like, them getting stronger in the mathematical implications of that. So I don't know where they're going with this narrative with, oh, you're pulling shit out of your ass with Goku. Where? Tell me what feat that I had where I made up out of my ass for Goku. I've never pulled out any feats from my ass. So stop with that bullshit. That's a complete lie. And then he says, yeah, everybody has inconsistencies. Yes, I've said that before. I've never said that it wasn't the case. I've even called it Dragon Ball. Like I said, I made a video talking about why Dragon Ball Super it's impossible to put Dragon Ball Super characters like Goku and stuff against other characters, because there's so many high-end and low-end feats that you can choose from any of them and you can make it look bad. There's no consistency. And I've also stated this. I don't use anti-feats. I don't use also outliers that make them sound powerful. What these guys are saying, don't use low-end feats. Only use the ridiculous feats. My argument is no. I'm not using low-end feats or high-end feats. I'm using in the middle. I'm using the most consistent ones, the ones that are most naturally and fit with the narrative of the story the most. So that is, completely wrong. And then just going back again, he says difference in power, scaling of Goku can easily be killed by when his guard is down. Why can't Superman get knocked out by supernova when his guard is down? I never stated that Goku can't get hurt when his guard is down. I just stated that he isn't as weak as he was portrayed in Super. And then the Superman one, I also never stated Superman can be taken down when his guard is down. Where did you get that from? Also, him being taken down by the supernova, I don't know which instance you're talking about. Are you talking about the one where the 50 supernovas blew up and he got hit by the shockwave and he got knocked out? Because that doesn't count, because his guard wasn't down. He literally saw what was happening and was flying away from it. Your guard can only be down if you don't know what's happening and you get hit last minute. If you were able to see it, react to it, and respond to it, and try to get away from it and still get knocked out, that's not your guard down. That's you just getting taken down. If his guard was really down, he wouldn't have noticed the supernova was going off and turned around and got hit with it. But he knew it, he was flying away, and they literally stayed in the story that the radiation falling behind him was going to incinerate him. So it wasn't a matter of fact of his guard being down. It was just in general that he knew that if he was touched by that energy, he would have been killed. So that argument doesn't work. Instead, like all Goku tards just being hypocrites, only bringing up anti-feats for characters that they don't want to win. I'm not a Goku tard. I've literally gone against, most Goku hardcore fanboys. I'm not a hypocrite. Also, I've really gone through that. But the anti-feats, like I said, anytime when I talk about Superman's feats, I'm either, when I made those videos about like Cosmic Armor, Superman, or Superboy Prime, I've gone through every feat. I've showed his impressive feats and his least impressive feats. I go through every feat. I'm not just going to dick ride him and say all of his great feats. You're sounding like a Superman tard, dumbass. And then on top of it, he says, you're using anti-feats. Like I said, most of the times when I talk about Superman's feats, it's not me going out of my way pulling out feats and saying, yep, look how weak he is. It's people's videos that I react to that bring Superman feats and say he did this and that, and then I go into and debunk those arguments on why those feats weren't as impressive as they try to make it out to be. So that's not me putting out anti-feats. That's other people putting out feats to over-exaggerate him and me going in depth on that. That is completely different things. So he says, for characters they don't want to win. Like I said, I've stated Goku could lose before. I literally made the whole video with Geekdom on his other, not Geekdom, what's his name? Forever World on his new channel called Forever. He was talking about 30 characters that can beat Goku. The characters I definitively didn't believe could beat Goku, I just said it, and I went into why. And the characters I did think could beat Goku, I said, yeah, definitely this character can beat him. I never stated he couldn't. And the ones that I didn't know enough about, I said, I don't really know enough. I have to do more research. So where's me being a Goku fanboy or Goku tard there? I literally openly stated that he could lose. I literally stated that there's no point of putting him in power scaling against other characters. I literally stated that it's reasonable for Superman fans to believe that he could beat Goku if he with that laser thing, even though I don't consider those plot-induced stupidities. But I have been fair. I don't know where you're getting this hypocrisy from. You sound like a hypocrite right now, calling me out and saying, this is what I said, when I didn't say it. His entire arguments have been strawmans. I'm going to call this guy Mr. Strawman because that's all he's good at. And if you wanted to rank Goku to the absolute highest, you could by taking statements, feats out of context like Goku tries to do and rank him to say universal. I've never argued he's universal. I put him below that. I put him in your range. So technically, if I'm wanking him and I agree with your level of power, then how does that work, stupid? Oh yeah, because you didn't check my shit and you just assumed I thought he was universal. Good job, dumbass. So he said that. He's like, I don't take feats out of context. I've gone against feats out of context and I called it out. So once again, I'm not a Goku tard. That's just dumb. And then he said he still gets shit on by post-crisis Superman. You say Superman is in universal post-crisis Superman has about 70 universal level feats. If he has that many universal level feats, why don't you show them? People always talk about how powerful Superman is. If you want to definitively say he's universal, do those feats. Let's say if I know everything about Superman and I'm a big Superman fan and I want to prove how strong Superman is in universal, I want to just say he has a ton of universal feats. I'll show every universal feat and I'll show the context and I'll explain why these are universal level feats. But you guys are not. Why? You say he has that many feats. If he has that many feats of universal level shit, you should have been able to have enough to prove me wrong. And look, if you guys have seen my channel, you also know I have admitted before in my other videos that I've been wrong. I said I'm wrong about this information. I'm wrong about that information. I've apologized and said I'm wrong on stuff. So you guys know I'm not somebody who is irrational and says, no, my opinion is the only one that's correct and I will never concede to anybody's argument. I have stated before that I've been wrong on stuff. So he's putting this whole narrative that, you're not going to accept it. But I will if you prove it. But you haven't. So I'm not going to accept it until you do. So you just making that statement doesn't make sense. Saying post-crisis Superman is universal. You're saying that I'm a Goku tard and I'm over-exaggerating Goku's power. I put him at a multiversal. And with the reasonable arguments, statements, and feats that I have. Your ass is literally putting him at universal in his weakest forms. How the fuck are you gonna call me a fanboy when you're dick riding Superman so hard that you're making even the weakest version sound like he's an OP god? Come on. Prove it then, if you're gonna make those big ass claims. And he says, he's far beyond baseline universal. No, he's not. Prove it. Due to the cosmology. The cosmology doesn't mean shit. The only reason the cosmology would matter of a universe is that a person has shown feats on that level, which he states later on that he has. He doesn't show any feats or proof. He just says that he has, which that isn't enough. That's just hearsay. But yeah, he says that, the cosmology. Yes, the cosmology is big. And he also made a point of this, which I'll get to later on because it's later down this thing. But yeah, he goes into it and he talks to me about that shit. And my argument against it is... like I said, he doesn't compare to cosmology. If you say he does, then prove it. And he said, he said universal due to the cosmology, which would be already beyond anything Goku's ever done. So he's saying that since the DC universe is 100 trillion light years across, that's bigger than anything Goku's ever done. No, not really. Goku in Battle of Gods, what 3 punches alone was shaking the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm, which had multiple size universes in it. And some of you guys might say, well, isn't the Dragon Ball universe way smaller? The Dragon Ball universe is scaled to our universe. Some of you guys might think it's 9.8 billion light years. No, that's the observable universe. The actual calculated universe by scientists is like 25 trillion light years. And I've made videos about that too. Our universe is estimated to be 25 trillion light years, and Dragon Ball is based off of ours. That means there would be 25 trillion. And since they have multiple ones, that would mean with 4 times, universal level, they would be comparable to one DC universe, right? But Goku's well beyond that. And that was just from Battle Gods. He got way stronger than that, passing beyond that. So he should be well above that. So no, Goku has power and feat above that, with just destroying the Dragon Ball macrocosm from the first arc, and then with subsequent, power-ups, and how he got stronger with him absorbing it in his base. So yeah, that is wrong. The Dragon Ball Cosmology, the living universe might not be the same size as DC's universe, it might be smaller, but when you combine the entire cosmology, the macrocosm, which that was what they were threatening, that is well above DC's solo big universe. So he's wrong on that. And then he said, and later was stated been holding back during all of them. Once again, show me just feats. I don't mind saying I'm wrong or conceding, but show me it. Just don't go out and say that. Literally one-shotting everyone. He actually started trying. He killed his enemies in the months. No, he didn't. Superman, people keep on using this he holds back. Yes, I do agree. But that also doesn't mean that characters that are way weaker than him should be able to hurt him. I said the same thing with Goku. People said he was holding back when he got hurt with a bullet. Okay, I get holding back, trying not to hurt those people, but why would you hold back your own durability where you can get hurt by something that could kill you like a bullet? That's dumb. It makes no sense. Maybe he's just not that powerful, okay? So, yeah, he said he was bodying them. He did. Show me. Yes, he is stronger and he can body characters that normally he would, be holding back against. But most of the major characters, he cannot do that. He didn't do this against Anti-Monitor. He hasn't done this against Darkseid's true form. He didn't do this against Superboy Prime post-Crisis Superman. He didn't do this against most of the other characters that are high-level powered beings. He doesn't do this against countless other characters, Parallax, any of these other motherfuckers. If he's that powerful, where's his power against these guys that are threatening just universes and multiverses, if he's well above that? He doesn't do that against, really powerful characters. I've been power scaling for years, whatever. And even if you said Goku's out of versal and base, I've never said Goku's out of versal base. Even at max, I don't think Goku's out of versal, so no. It's not. It is an insane wink that I don't agree with, so I don't know what's your point. But saying post-Crisis Superman is, out of versal is also an insane wink, but you don't consider that one as that. And it says Superman from feats, statements, and cosmology skills into layers. No, he does not. He's not into layers of boundless at all. Shut the fuck up. Show me proof that. I've never seen videos where people have made whole videos of Superman being out of versal or boundless as a whole or going in depth. Maybe there are give me suggestions so I can go check it out to see if I'm wrong or, if I have any disagreements against it. It's not my fault DC's ridiculous in terms of power. Yeah, it's not my fault that you can't read your fucking own stories that you're going through. If you're such a big fan, then you should know more about it. And being biased against it with no matter how much you like DC. Dragon Ball is just as goofy in my personality. And he says right here, if the characters have infinite speed like people say, then why does Goku need instant transmission? I never said Goku had infinite speed. Once again, when Surfbone made his videos on that, I've gone against the whole infinite speed and measurable speed. I've gone against that whole concept as a whole because this concept where time stops and if you can move, you stop time, you're way faster than the speed of light. No. I stated in those videos that by going at the speed of light or just even a bit faster than it, you would technically be manipulating time and stopping time. If you watch Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you watch any of these other science channels or like Nova or any of these other stuff, when they talk about light speed, they say if you can go at light speed, time would stop. So you would basically have time-stopping powers. And it was also shown best in Fire Force when Shinra was fighting against his brother. His brother had the ability to cool down the universe and stop time, which that wouldn't make any sense, but he was able to stop time. And Shinra was able to break through it by going at light speed. So he showed the perfect, accurate representation of how it feels to go light speed or if a character could go light speed. And I said I like that representation because they did it accurately. He wasn't going faster than the speed of light by billions of times. He was going at the speed of light and he was able to go through time. So he would technically be considered immeasurable or incalculable, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But he was just going at the speed of light. Because scientifically, that's what would happen if you were to go at that speed. So, yeah. That concept is already dumb and I already gone through that. But I've never said that he was instant. That instant transmission, I think, would still be important to use. I don't know about that too much. Like I said, I don't care about those. I remember Superman literally traveling through an outer speed time with speed about 3 different times back off of his head, and he scales to characters that have done the exact same thing. I've also talked about that. I talked about in the Dragon Ball Cosmology how it works compared to DC. And DC, for one, to go through time, you would just have to go at fastest speed of light. They never specified how much faster, but it's either around a couple of times to maybe 1,000 times faster speed of light. But still, nothing too crazy from what we've seen. So from that speed, you can go through time. Dragon Ball, you cannot. Even though Whis has shown speed feats faster than what speed you would need to go through to travel through time in DC. He's gone faster than that in his regular speed when he went through, from when he went from one end of the universe to the other end in the Universe 6 or 7 tournament, which would mean that he was going like quintillions or quadrillions of times the speed of light, right? That is way more than what the speed would require in DC to go. But in DC, you can go through time by going a couple times the speed of light. Why is that the case? Well, maybe it's because the cosmology works differently. In Dragon Ball, time manipulation is not allowed unless if it's through a technique or machine. So that's why it happens. It's not because he can't. Because by that logic, because the speed that they're going in DC, they don't even have to go as fast as Whis is going, and they can travel through time. So by that logic, by going that speed Whis is going, he should have been able to go through time. Why doesn't he? Because that's not how it works. Just because time traveling through speed works in one universe doesn't mean it works in others. That's why I stated in so many videos of mine that you have to understand the way these worlds work. Some of them take bits and pieces out of science, either real stuff from science or from science fiction or whatever. And DC takes that into consideration. If you go faster than the speed of light, you can go through time. Dragon Ball, going faster than the speed of light, even if it's way faster than the speed of light, will not help you go through time, only through a technique or a time machine. So yeah, I disagree with that. So yeah, Superman going through time, like I said, Dragon Ball, that's not how it works. But even if we want to argue that, how does that help him in a fight? When Superman is fighting, is he using that immeasurable speed in a combat situation? No. Because when they use the feats, they use like lower end feats, like, he can phase through attacks. So what? Goku could do that all the way back in Dragon Ball. It's called the after image technique. It's nothing that impressive. So they use lower end speed feats when it comes to his combat compared to his travel speed. He said exactly, in power scaling we look at feats, not anti-feats. Yeah, also in power scaling, we don't look at the most ridiculous feats. We look at the most baseline, consistent feat. You want to ignore the low-end feats, but focus on the high-end feats. You can't just do that. And like I said, I don't just go after anti-feats just to discredit these characters. When I make videos on those, I go through all the feats, high and low, and I'm going to be making one recently. I'm doing a Cosmic King Thor. I'm going to be making a video on that. It's going to take some time. It's a lot bigger than I thought. It's like the first comic where he shows up is like 30 issues. I'm only on issue 9, so sorry if I'm late for that one. It's like 30 issues, and then he's in other comic books, so I've been taking quite a bit of images. At this point, I already have over 100 images, and it's only on issue 9, and I have to get to 30 and then other ones. So I will begin to that, and you will see in that video that I'm not trying to, even though I don't agree with Thor being that powerful, I'm going to be at least reasonable that when I see a ridiculous OP feat, I'm going to put it in. I'm not going to avoid it and just show low-end feats. I'm going to show both. But consistency is where it matters, and I've stated that before. It would be literally impossible to scale characters if there were too many contradictions in their powers, hence why Dragon Ball is so controversial in power scaling. Well, DC is also controversial. Yes, you can say, well, Superman and them, they have many writers. That doesn't change the fact that it's very inconsistent to use. So most of these characters are very inconsistent. Dragon Ball definitely is. I would say Dragon Ball Z not as much, but Dragon Ball Super, yes. And I already talked about that enough. But yeah, hence the power and the power scaling community notorious. And then that whole thing. And he said bare minimum, even New 52 has creation level feats. No, he doesn't. He says Superman has high out-of-versal level feats. Yeah, he's definitely the fanboy here. And then he just gets into argument with somebody else, and then I get back with TCG on fire. He said, elaborate more. I'm not going to watch some weak debunk. Because I told him, I was like, because that whole argument that he was making, I told him, I was like, go check out my videos. Like how I explained in this video, every point that I made in those other videos, it discredits his whole narrative. Well, not his whole narrative, but a lot of his argumentative points, right? I said, go check it out. And then this dumbass comes in, elaborate more. I'm not going to watch some weak debunk. This guy gave me a whole essay. I'm not going to give a whole essay back. I might as well just give a video response. But it's simpler to just check out my video where I've already explained that. Why the hell would you do that? I'm not going to check out some weak debunk. And those videos weren't debunks. They were just regular videos. And on top of it, you're saying my videos are weak debunks without even knowing what is behind it. And this is why it's important. Because if you're going to make bold claims like this, like these dumbasses, then you have to check out my videos to know where I stand on my points. I'm not going to attack somebody else and say, you believe this, and not check out their channel. I'm going to check out their channel to see more of like where their points are and what they believe, and then make an assumption. But I'm not just going to say right off the jump. So yeah, I was like, whatever. And then he just goes back and forth. Sorry for that one going for long. It's just that guy who gave so much back and forth. It was hard to go through it. So that was the end of that discussion thread.